Are pretty great, but this glider is less obviously aerodynamic. So how does it work? So in this video, we are going to cover 3 things. How gliders work, how to make a loop glider, and factors that affect your glider. You've probably made paper planes before or watched birds soaring without flapping their wings. You've maybe seen hang gliders, or maybe you've even been in a glider yourself. So what do all these have in common that keeps them up in the air? We use lift, a force that occurs when a liquid or a gas, a fluid, flows over or around an object. Here's our wing seen from the side. So this would be our glider here behind it, and we're looking down from the tip to the wing part, to the plane part of our glider. And here's our airflow. Because the glider is moving forward, the air is moving towards it. And what we find is that as the air rushes over the wing, it changes direction. So that piece went above it and it came out lower. This piece will come out down here. This piece will go under the wing and come out lower too. So the wind has, or the air has changed its direction in response to the glider moving past it. So we know that the only way things change their direction is if a force acts on them. So if something has forced the air to move down. Now, according to Newton's third law, if something has changed something's direction, there must be an opposite force acting on the thing that did it. And so our wing experiences a lift in the opposite direction to the movement of the air. The wind causes the air flowing over it to change direction, and that takes a force to make it happen. The wing, in response, experiences an upward force because the air has been shifted downwards as it flows over the wing. The loop glider creates lift, just like any other kind of glider. Now, this one here uses these curved surfaces on the loops themselves. The air flows over it differently on either side, creating the lift. Let's make one. So you'll need straws, and I'm using quite narrow straws. You'll need cardboard strips, 2.5 centimetres wide, and you'll need some sellotape. Measure and cut your card. I'm making my big loop twice as big as my little loop. So I'm going to measure 10 centimetres for my small loop and 20 centimetres for my big loop. And I'll cut those to size. Second, make your loops. I suggest you use quite small pieces of sellotape and get them ready first, and overlap it just a little tiny bit, as small as you can. You don't want to use too much sellotape because you don't want them to be too heavy on the bottom to unbalance the plane. Right, so now you've got your 2 loops. The loops to the straw. Now, the big one's fairly simple, and I suggest you put your straw over the join in the bottom, just so that if there is any excess weight, it's down at the bottom. The big one's fairly easy because there's plenty of room for you to get your hand in there and attach it down. The smaller one's a lot harder because, as you can see, the loop's pretty tiny. So what I suggest you do is put the sellotape on the straw and then put the straw inside the loop. Okay, it's a bit tricky because my sellotape's folded itself over, but once it's in there like that, I'll be able to add another piece to hold it in place. And it doesn't matter if you make a bit of a mess of it, you can just trim these excess bits off. Just 3 easy steps. Cut your strips, tape your strips into loops, and attach the loops to your straw. That's it, your loop glider. You're done. Give it a go. So, is that it? Well, no. There's a variety of things we could do to change our glider and experiment with the factors that influence the type of lift that this glider gets. Science says that we should only change one thing at a time so that we make sure that we know what's causing the change in the experiment. So what things could you change? Well, here's some ideas. You could try different ratios for your loop. So over on one side, I've got my big loop only 1.5 times as big as my small loop, and on the other side, I've got it twice as big. So if you're going to do this, I suggest you choose a nice simple number for your top loop. So my top loops are only 10 centimetres, which means for the 1.5 times is 1, it's only a 15 centimetre big loop, whereas the other one it's a 20 centimetre big loop. Try changing the type of straw you use. So you could try changing the thickness of the straw. You could make the straw longer or shorter for the same thickness. You could even try something solid like a skewer and see how that works. You could try using paper instead of card, or you could try using thicker card, or you could even use quite thin plastic and see how the rigidity of the loops affects the stability of the flying. You could even try making a really giant loop glider if you wanted to. Thanks for watching.